I think it's interesting because we often talk about how hip hop evolved really from what felt like a grassroots kind of movement, right? Starting in the South Bronx, really being built on MCing, beatboxing, the fashion scene,
Yeah.
art, like,
Right. It wasn't just one thing. It was,
yeah,
music was a part of just the whole culture.
it was a myriad of things.
Right. Yeah.
And now it's really, it just exploded on the global scene, um, and how it has evolved. But I know how you frequently say that you don't really find what you used to have in it before, as far as the level of lyricism or the level of passion or what people are looking for.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
It's just. I mean, I don't know, just the genuineness of the music, right? Because there's been a lot of artists, past, present, and I'm sure future, that they just don't have that lyrical ability, that they ain't that lyrical, but they make good songs. They
Sure.
make good records that are hip hop and embodies the culture and embodies, or it's not even a movement anymore because, hip hop is probably the one of the biggest selling genres of music in
Yeah.
history. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean, I'm not sure if it is or not, but I can imagine that is up there.
It's all over the globe.
Right, right. I think the whole culture in general is just dead. I think that's done as far as anyway in this country. Um, and other countries that adopted to it early, maybe it's dead over there too. I mean, I know some countries that still probably do hip hop better than we do, like Japan and Slovenia. They're big into hip hop. Other countries in Africa, they're big into hip hop and they're still, what I'm saying, in their infancy and stuff like that. And then the whole culture, the whole movement and everything else that is not like now with the internet. I mean, everything is just so out there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, it's kind of like an oxymoron. Like I said before, it's so common and it's just uncommon at the same time. It's just a weird thing. It's just a weird thing. Like I said, I mean, you have somebody that has 6 million downloads, 7 million downloads, or whatever, and nobody knows them.
Right. Right. Well, let me ask you this question because obviously you grew up buying records and or
Buying records, absolutely,
you know
and tapes.
and tapes. You grew up in the 70s, 80s. I grew up in the 2000s era where streaming and
Yeah,
digitalized music really took
yeah,
over.
yeah.
These died quick, and then of course now everything's streaming.
Right.
I would have to imagine that when you had one of your favorite artists is releasing a new project, it is more of a personal connection or a feeling that you have when you're going to the record store. If you're waiting for a record to drop, you're going and buying it, you checking out the artwork, the track list, and who's producing what's going on, yada yada. Where now it's like, hey, new record comes out or new album comes out. I see it on my Apple Music. I'm just gonna click it, listen to it,
Right.
and it counts as a stream whether I listen to the whole thing or whether I listen to 20 seconds of it.
Right. I mean, I remember just what I'm saying, waiting for somebody's album to come out, and then you go to your local, what I'm saying, record store or wherever that they're gonna, because it wasn't always released in every record store, so you would have to go and you have to wait online or whatever, and you would just wait, and you already knew what the artist was doing because you would follow that artist, and if you was into the music the way I was and the way my friends were, that you would grab the record before you even, what I'm saying, pull it out or even looked at the front cover, you turn to the back and you would read the credits. You know what I'm saying? So you know who produced it, who mastered it, and what studio. You know what I'm saying? So you knew all of that, and then just based off of that, because you knew about the music, you knew who was involved in the project just automatically. Like
Right.
they would record it at Channel King Studios, right? But Channel King was real popular. It was recorded there, so who's engineering it, who's mastering it, you know what I'm saying, all of that. You know what I mean? You know who the sound man is. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. So just by knowing that, you already know the kind of quality that you would get because you was so much into that music. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like like a premiere beat or like anything else, or like, you know what I'm saying, you already know.
Right. It's going to be quality.
Right.
It's going to be quality production. Follow up question off of that is because I you said like the cultures, at least that obviously that part of the culture is kind of dead because record sales, while still important, like you said, we look at number of streams now and all, we aggregate numbers off, all the different various platforms you could look at. But to what you said is there might be somebody that got 60 million streams. You're like, yo, who is this person?
Right.
Do you think that's just the nature of the beast because now everybody has so much access? You necessarily don't need to sign to a label to help you promote because social media is such a big thing. Is it just the nature of the beast? Is there any way to capture that?
I think it just shows us how big the world is and how small it is at the same time, right? Like for instance, right? You take Joe Rogan, for instance, right? The most popular podcast on the face of the planet, right? Ain't no bigger podcast than that.
Ain't no debating that.
Right? And I listen to podcasts every single day. I listen to podcasts, and I've never sat down and listened to a whole Joe Rogan podcast. So what does that say? What does that say about Joe Rogan, or what does that say about me? Right? So it's such a big world, but it's a small world in the same token, right? Because there's you look at the numbers, and you look at the number 2 podcast, number 3 podcast, number 4 podcast, and I'm pretty sure these are people that you never even heard of.
More than likely,
right? Okay, so that's what I'm saying, right? Joe Rogan has what, 50 million subscribers or whatever it is, right? He does what, like 10 million episode or whatever, 15 million episode, whatever his numbers are, right? His numbers are stupid.
Plus all the shorts and clips and that,
right? His numbers are ridiculous, right? His numbers are ridiculous. So, but you listen to him, you understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So right. So it's such a big world, but it's small at the same time, right? So that's what I mean. That even with hip hop, it kind of falls into the strange era, this microcosm, whatever. It's like, bro, this dude, he's been making records online, and he's been selling records online for the past year, and he's got 100 million streams, but I've never seen him on Drink Champs. I've never seen him in My Expert Opinion. I've never even seen him on Vlad TV. I've never seen him on any of that, right? And that's where people go to see hip hop, consume hip hop, or whatever it is.
right?
But meanwhile, this dude, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the whole thing. You have to go where it's gonna cater to your taste, and go from there and learn from it and explore. And you gotta do your due diligence, you gotta do your homework, and you gotta do your research, and wherever that takes you, wherever that leads. You know what I'm saying? That's like, right? That's like, I can guarantee you that 9 out of 10 people, right, that they say that they're hip hop fans, and in particular certain people, like for instance MF Doom, right? A lot of MF Doom fans out there, they don't even know who MF Doom is.
Mm.
They don't even know who MF Doom is, and I could play you a MF Doom song, and it's like maybe 30 years old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know who MF Doom is.
Sure.
Right? I know what you're about, but people they don't even know that. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know that he's KMD. They don't even know, well, who's KMD or whatever. Like they don't know any of that because they don't know hip hop. They know MF Doom.
Right. I think there's just some people that kind of transcend, beyond just music. MF Doom was just a popular figure in general. So in your opinion, as someone who's consumed hip hop, really grew alongside hip hop, because hip hop was born in the South Bronx, late 60s, early 70s, like yourself, do you think, one, obviously things need to evolve, right? If you don't change, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
And so, do you think there's any pieces of what made hip hop great in your mind still remaining? And if so, what are they?
I think the people that respect the music, that respect the genre, that respect the people that came before them to pave the way for them to be in these positions, right? People that they go back and they do their homework and they do their research and stuff like that. It's just like when you have somebody, like I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think it's counterintuitive. If you're in a business or you're in a profession, I don't care what it is, right? And this is how you make your living, and this is what you're doing, that you don't know everything about this business, or you don't try to educate yourself as much as you can. I don't care if it's from carpentry to plumbing to whatever it is, politics or whatever, that you don't get involved in that, right? So if you're an artist, if you're making hip hop artists, I would think that you're a fan of it, and you will follow it, and you will trace it back to its origins, and you will know, well, this is this and this is that. And I know for a fact that there's artists that you ask them, who's Big Daddy Kane, who's Rakim, who's LL Cool J, who's Curtis Blow, and they're coolest. They're
right.
even out like these dudes don't exist, whatever. And like, bro, these are the people that make it possible for you to be in the position that you in.
Paved the way.
Right, exactly. And you don't know anything about that, right? I mean, yeah, you got race car drivers. I'm pretty sure they knew they knew about, Ferrari and Ford and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Even though that was, what I'm saying,
Oh, 100%.
30, 40 years before them. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, ball players talk about all the time, whether it's baseball. I mean, the current players know who Babe Ruth is and Mickey Mantle and Joey T and all those players, right? Football players know who Jim Brown was, and he played in the 50s.
Right.
So absolutely. I think the great ones understand the importance of the history of things.
Right. Right. And they're still artists, you know what I'm saying? That again, I'm not that in tune with a lot of the new music that comes out and stuff like that, because a lot of the new music that comes out, I'm just not interested in, because it's just not my sound, not my type of music. Not that I can't respect it, or not that I don't think it. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't consume it because it's not what I listen to, right? I mean, there's a lot of artists that I respect that I don't listen to. You know what I'm saying? That I just respect their craft and stuff like that, and I respect their talent. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that I necessarily gotta like it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody got their own taste.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But there's still people that they do hip hop and stuff like that. Is it a dying breed? As far as I see, yeah. Yeah, in this country anyways.
So,
This country anyway.
for what reasons? And I think, and I also would like you, after you answer that question. So, for what reasons do you think is a dying breed? Is to, in your mind, distinguish the difference between the hip hop genre and the rap genre? Because a lot of times those things are used interchangeably.
Right.
And I personally feel like there's a difference between the two.
I agree. But I would love to. We had discussed that before. The difference between rap and hip hop, and I think in a nutshell, rap is just the commercial version of hip hop. Is what I think. It's just the commercial version. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not saying that is not bad, but I think rap is just a commercialized version of something okay, it's it's hip hop. Hip hop is open source.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is open source, and
Yeah.
that whatever you take from it, whatever you make from that, you commercialize it. That's what that is,
Okay. I get you.
right? Like in layman's term, that's what it is. Hip hop is just the pure essence that anybody can contribute, whatever, and this is what it is. For everything else, whatever commercial, whatever, I'm not saying that hip hop can't be successful and profitable. That's not what I'm saying. But hip hop is a culture, hip hop is a movement, and all of that, and even that's being lost because you don't have the other components of it based on the music that you have now. But you know what I'm saying? The fashion, but when you got dudes walking around in $800 rubber red boots that look like idiots, right? And this is the fashion trend that you started saying, right? How many of those people cop them boots? You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is what you're doing, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just completely different. And I'm not saying that being eccentric is a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I
And I'm not saying
that.
whatever statement they're trying to make or whatever. But that's not what this is.
I get what you're saying. Like, I mean, there's some of the brands that, for example, Run DMC with My Adidas, right? That was a big thing. Wu-Tang Clan and Clarks, right? They have so many collabs, and they always mention Wallabies in their songs and stuff like that. And there's definitely validity to it, because whenever I think about hip hop, I think about, again, a movement. Like, especially as I went back and not just listen to it, because growing up, that's what we would listen to, but then actually like studying the history and how it came up and how it took inspiration from guys like Curtis Blow, right? And also like the disco scene and different
Yes.
places and music where its roots were found in Africa, right? And small tribes in Africa that ended up making its way to New York. But when I think about hip hop in general, was again like a whole, like almost like a New York to the world type of vibe, right? Like this is what we're doing here. This is the way that we dress. This is the way that we walk.
Right.
This is the way
Right.
that we talk. This is the way that we.
This is what we do, right? And then in the same way you look at it in other parts of the country, the way LA did, and they had
Right,
and they were
right,
all down south, right? And they
right.
had their own
It's like
right?
our culture to the world,
Right,
kind
right.
of
But
deal.
it was all the same movement. It was all the same culture, even though it looked different or whatever. But it was all of that. It was
Yeah,
still all the music.
core elements,
Right, right. It
there.
was still all the music, the dress, the dancing, the graffiti, like that,
Right.
like right. It was all there.
MC,
It might look right,
production,
right,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
right. So that's what I'm saying. But now it's a little bit different because you don't have that. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, you don't. Well, not that I see anyway.
I
Not
think
that I see.
I think now is more of like, and I think we spoke, not recording or anything, but we've had plenty of conversations with this. Is whenever I listen to music from, whenever I listen to a Kane song or the Rakim song, or even we talk about Ice Cube song with West Coast rapper, obviously, but it was a good day, right?
One of my
I mean,
favorite songs.
it was his.
I mean, he's not the most lyrical guy in the
No,
world,
but
but I can
there's
listen
a
to music.
there's a but there's a validity to what he's saying,
There's no question. There's no
and
question.
it's relatable, right? Like,
There's no question.
I mean, I didn't grow up in that, but I grew up in Southeastern Connecticut.
Right, right.
But there's
But I did, and I knew I felt that song because I get today was a good day. Like I made it home. I'm safe. Like
right,
it was like it was a good day. Anytime you made it home alive or whatever, and it was a good day, man.
right,
You wasn't arrested. You wasn't, you know what I mean, to be a teenager in the city at these times, stuff like that, where you was at, whenever you made it home, it was a good day.
right,
And that's what bothers me. And again, we couldn't be farther away from each other geographically as we could.
right.
It was on the other side of the
York
world, to LA.
to LA,
You know what I'm saying? But it was still all the same struggle, and that made it even more real.
right,
I was wearing Lees, he was wearing Dickies. You know
right,
what I'm saying? But it was still,
right, right.
it was a good day.
And so I think when I think about hip hop, I think about relatable. I think
Right.
about attainable.
Yeah.
I think about what I'm really doing is pouring my life over a beat and
Yeah.
just letting that flow. I think of poetry.
Yeah.
When I think of rap, I think of um just crazy shit. I think of the make believe lifestyles and the fantasy lifestyle,
Yeah, but I mean,
glorifying things that really aren't normal to the everyday person.
this is true. But you know what?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right, and then
Wrong with
with
it.
rap, you have those elements. I mean that you just exaggerate or whatever, or you just tell stories. I mean, look at guys like Slick Rick or whatever, right? I mean,
Storyteller.
right, exactly. So you have all of that. I mean, and of course, there's also the frauds that they talk about this gangster life, and that's not what they do or whatever. But that's neither here nor there, man. I mean, again, that's like in ways, even though I don't listen to the music as much as I think I should or whatever, is like reggaeton. Reggaeton is going, you know what I'm saying, now is going through the same thing that hip hop went through. You know what I'm saying? And their culture is changing and it's getting more international and stuff like that. And they're going through the same thing, through the same struggles that hip hop was. You know what I'm saying? And now you have, you know what I'm saying, the commercial version of reggaeton as opposed to the pure, whatever you want to call it, of reggaeton, stuff like that. So, you know, it's that's a good example to look at. You know what I'm saying? If people really want to look at it, look at look at a recent movement that's happening in reggaeton and see the way things shifted from what it started as. And reggaeton's been around for a while, more than what people think of, more than
Yeah, people think about
that.
that.
I mean, reggaeton been around. I mean, as far as I can remember, one of the first ones were like Rico C and and that was, I don't know, man, 88, 89.
Sheesh.
You know what I'm saying? So it's been around for me, but then you know what I'm saying. It took a while for
Yeah. Steve picked up.
right, and then it became
Yeah.
became
Daddy was the one that really
right.
took her from
Right. It took it. I mean, even though there was other dudes, it wasn't mainstream with Daddy Yankee. But there was other dudes that there was moving records and selling records all over the Caribbean and stuff like that, and doing this, or even in Puerto Rico. I mean, there's 3 million people in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and doing that then, and of course you had your fan base here in the States also, right? Because there's Puerto Ricans all over
the place.
right, all over the country, and then you had your fan base, and then not only that, the Puerto Ricans that were in the military that from Puerto Rico that are all over the world.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you had all of that, but I mean, I think that those are another ways that it went international. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of bases in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
And that's one of the ways to get over Puerto Rico is to go in the military or whatever to get a good career and stuff like that. And there's Puerto Ricans in Greenland and in Iceland, all over the world,
All over the place.
all over the world. So
yeah, I and like I said, it's not to I think Big Daddy Kane said it best. Like when he was talking about it when he did his Tiny Desk concert. I'm not even sure how many years ago this was now. He was talking about
that's one thing that I don't mean to cut you off. A Tiny Desk is great because that's pure, that's organic.
Yeah,
that's
Tiny Desk is dope.
And it doesn't matter who they have on there, whether it's Adele, whether it's Big Daddy Kane, whether it's Onyx or Wu Tang. It doesn't matter who they or Dave Matthews. It doesn't matter any country dude. It's 100% organic.
Yeah,
people out of there, you want to be there, and you're doing it for the music.
Exactly.
You ain't doing it. Like, I don't even know if you get paid for doing Tiny Desk.
Yeah, I mean, I have no clue, but yeah,
There's some Big Daddy Kane.
he was on there,
Yeah,
and he was talking about it because they asked him a question about rap and hip hop and that whole dichotomy and how people are warring and get about you got the old heads and the newer generation, and he was like, hip hop is hip hop and hip hop evolves, and I think it's not to shit on one to raise up the other one, but there's definitely a difference between the two, right? And like I said, the way I view it is hip hop is very, in my mind, is very intentional, and the core elements exist in it, right?
got it.
And rap could be really, like you said, it's like taking this open source thing and then kind of making it whatever you want it to be, right? And then just taking that open source platform and then spinning something off and then making it private and then selling it.
Right.
To me, that's kind of what rap is, right? Where I
right, exactly. Like I said,
I don't take everything about it. I don't take, because hip hop is, for hip hop to be true, there's the elements that we talked about, right?
Right.
It's the music, it's the production, it's the emceeing, it's the breakdancing, the graffiti,
it's the whole
culture, right?
whole-
And so when one of those pieces are missing, then it's not hip hop, right? Because hip hop is not just the music,
Right.
But so then rap's like, we're gonna take bits of it, mainly the music piece, and then we're gonna inject anything else we want into it. So we're gonna take part of that open source code piece of it, and then we're gonna inject whatever is going to sell things.
Right. You're just commercializing that.
Right.
That what it is. Right.
Whatever's hot right now.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that.
Because there's good rap songs.
There's no question.
There's no
question.
There's sounds you get ready to turn up.
Right. There's no question. There's no question. I've never hated on it or whatever. Absolutely not. Listen, this is what it is.
This man,
it's not the same thing. It's two totally different things.
It's different.
Right. So I mean, I thought that was a great analogy to say, this is open source, and then this is what else.
I agree. We're gonna take a piece of it. We don't want all of it.
Right. And this is what we're gonna do with it. And this is what we're gonna.
And we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it private. We're gonna
right.
This one.
The thing about it is this that as far as hip hop is concerned, It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you dress like. It doesn't matter what you talk like. It doesn't matter. That doesn't that doesn't matter. Like that's irrelevant because even right. You look at so many different artists. Even if you look at classic artists from back in the days, right? You look at Africa Bombard and the Zulu Nation. Look at what they dressed like, right? And then you look at Big Daddy Kane and what he dressed like. Then you look at Slick Rick, and then you look at BDP. Anybody in BDP, KRS, and them. And then you look at Brock Kim, right? Like it didn't matter. And then you look at Five Core Quest and Q-Tip and all those guys over there, right? Leaders of the new school, bunch of rhymes in them, right? Everybody looked different. Everybody talked different, and everybody was on different parts, right? I mean, there was dudes that they wanted to be egocentric. There was dudes that was more on a cerebral level that wanted to be about peace and unity and black awareness and stuff like that. That was, saying the gangsters and all of that. So, and then of course, and that was only in New York, not including what it was down south and out west and everything else. And then now you think about it in other countries, in Japan, and Japan most of all, because when it took off, I think Japan and Germany were probably the first countries to as far as that I know of to adopt it because I remember and this was while I was still at home when I was 16, 17 years old, what I'm saying, being up and coming home and tuning my radio to be able to get, what I'm saying, listen to college shows in Japan.
So that's late 80s.
Yeah, to listen to college radio in Japan because they were playing Japanese hip hop, right?
Wow.
With dudes like I said, with DJ Honda, King Ghidra, and Ichiro, and all of these dudes those were the pioneers in the forefront of hip hop in Japan.
Bam.
You know what I'm saying? And then you had guys in Germany that they were making music. I didn't listen to the German radio too much because it was just hard for me to follow the guttural.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was just so hard for me to it just. But then you had in France and in the UK, you had, what I'm saying, MC Solar and dudes like that had productions from Premiere and Guru and Havoc and you know what I'm saying, and then not only that, artists from the United States that went over and they made records with all of these guys,
Right.
and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So when this was, what I'm saying, 80s, 90s,
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how things evolve and change, and we talk about this often on the show, especially because we found this show on sports about how different things are when you live through an era, and then when you look back on an era. So, for example, we talk about when it comes to the Jordan LeBron GOAT debate, and it'll happen generations now and we're seeing it now football with Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, right? Where I lived through the whole Tom Brady thing,
Right.
and now there's the next generation is living through the Patrick Mahomes thing, and so
Right.
they'll have certain lenses on it because when you live through something,
Right.
the impact on it is completely different. And it's much greater because you got to see
Right.
not
Right.
just their greatness or what they did, but how it impacted
Right.
everything else around it, right? And so, as someone who grew up in mainly into 2000s, born in 96, so growing up, all my memories I remember came in the 2000s.
Right.
I wasn't in that era that you live where you literally grew up alongside hip hop.
Right.
So now whenever I have to, when I'm researching it, I'm looking back. I can't capture the same energy in the moments and everything, especially because that's before like all of us now, we have phones. Everybody has a camera in the pocket. So now like almost every moment is documented somewhere.
Right.
Where before, like you said, you like, hey, I'd be able to see these dudes out my window,
Right.
They were busting on the streets. All they would have is a keyboard or a basic drum kit, well, bass, and that's what they was doing.
Right.
You know, if it was in the abandoned lot across the street or in the park or on a Friday night, just pulling up because they wanted to provide something for the kids.
Right.
So there was a staying out of trouble type of stuff. You got to live through that where I'm going back and researching and I might find like one newspaper clipping that somebody wrote about. So I'm just curious, being able to live through that, is that why you feel like maybe a good majority of it's dead and maybe there's not really it's not looking so good for it to come back to what it was?
Right. I mean, it could be that, and of course, right, I'm gonna be biased. There's no question, right? I can't help being biased. I mean, I'm human, right? It's gonna be, and not only that, I mean, I'm older,
Sure.
right? I'm older. Um, maybe I'm not in tune as I should be with the younger generation and the younger generations and where the culture is moving, because I mean, of course, everything evolves and everything changes and stuff like that, right? But as far, I mean, I think I still got a pretty good ear, and I think that I still stay pretty consistent in following the trends of where the music is going, and the kind of music that comes out. Of course, again, right? You know, I mainly focus on the kind of music that I like, right? And I mean, and the artists that I like. But there's still, I mean, there's even artists that I know that are hip hop, whatever, that I got blocked just because I don't like them, because I don't like their sound, or I don't like their music, or I don't like what they represent, or whatever. And it is hip hop, and I could name those artists off that um honestly, you know what, he's interesting to me, even though I might not like his music, but he wasn't. I mean, he's not relevant in the scene as he was before. But I would always check for guys like that because they were so relevant to the industry, and then not only that to the industry, right. And the industry on their on their side.
On the East Coast.
It was important.
Important.
It was important to stay relevant. I mean, or even guys like Bun B and guys, those dudes out of Texas, No Limit, down in Louisiana. Like you might not like their music, but it's important to know who these guys are.
Part of the culture,
right?
In history,
right? In the history. So I mean, maybe it's that, or maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe I'm just missing it all, and the whole culture is different, and the whole culture changed, and maybe I'm just an old man that don't know what's going on.
No, I mean, I don't think it's that.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think it's more of what you said before.
But all I can say is this, right? All I can say is this, right? Like you said, you brought up the thing between, you know, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and LeBron and Jordan, right?
Right.
So we think that LeBron doesn't know everything that Jordan did and all his accolades.
Of course he does.
And you think that LeBron's aspirations isn't to beat Jordan and to surpass him? Of course it is, right? Anybody that's playing, I mean, you want to be the best, you want to be better than the best.
Sure.
Right? That's what everybody aims to be.
Yeah, I mean, so like again, now this is just personal level type shit. It's not even I don't know what LeBron wants, you know, because at this point he's done everything.
But he hasn't done everything that Jordan has done.
No, but he's also done things that Jordan has not done.
Correct.
Correct. Most minutes played, most points scored. Only player to only lead the team from down 3-1 in the finals.
Right.
You know, what is it, like 8 straight finals appearances, all that crazy stuff. But just from a personal level is, you know, my goal whenever I approach something is never to be the best, to be known as the best.
No, you're
something.
Right. You're gonna do it to the best of your ability.
That's the way I look at it, right? Like,
right.
You know, what?
Right. I agree.
That's how I define success.
Right. I agree. But I'm saying,
was I better than I was yesterday?
But what I'm saying is this. I guess my point is this. My point is that if this is what you do, and you're a student of that game, right? And this is what you do, you're gonna know everything that there is to know about that game,
You know, you're gonna be a student,
right. You can be. Let's say, for instance, let's say, take a guy like, let's say, Otani, right? Let's say Otani, right? From another culture, from another
student of the game.
right, right. And you mean to tell me you don't think that he knows who Roberto Clemente is and what he did, what Jackie Robinson?
Of course,
Right. So that's what I'm saying,
right.
right?
And so I think maybe I'll pose this question to you: do you think to reach your full potential, you need to understand the history behind what you're doing, your craft?
I think so. I think so because how else you learn? I feel that the greats are the greats because they studied and they practiced and they studied and they practiced and they studied and they practiced, right? And you look at any footage of anybody that's great at anything, and you see the commentary from the people that were around them, and they'll tell you that there was always the first in and the last out. That all they did was that, and all they did was study, and all they did was work, because that's the only way you're going to become great at anything. Yes, some people have natural ability, right? Some people are just talented or whatever. That doesn't mean that you're going to be good at what you're doing.
It only takes you so far.
Right, right. So you got guys like Tom Brady. Not only was he gifted talently, right, but he also studied the game, and he was the first in and the last out. The same thing with Jordan, right? All they did was work. Even on the off season, all they did was work
Right,
and work
right.
and work and work and work, and that's what took them to the level that they're at. They had the dedication, they had the drive, and stuff like that, and that's what all the greats did. That's what all the greats did in every aspect, in every part of life, right? Whether it's sports or business or finance or whatever. These people become great because they work at it and they practice at it and they consume everything that there is.
Yeah, I think there's a level of to greatness that it takes a level of humility to become really great. Because like, and then, you kind of said it without saying it, which is a lot of these dudes, they of course they put in the requisite work, right? Like they have the talent, because talent is, you need talent, right? At the end of the day. But they put in they match that talent or surpass that, or that talent with hard work. They supplement it with hard work. And then, but they also, like you said, they study it. They go and they ask questions. They become vulnerable. They ask people who go before them, who went before them, who walked the road already. We say, hey, baseball is my favorite sport, so I'll take it to baseball, which is, all right, I'm going through a slump. What I do? And Pete Rose, who just passed away earlier this year, all-time hits leader, should be in the Hall of Fame, but it's not because of the whole gambling controversy.
Which is lame,
But he gave this. There's an awesome clip, something like 6 minutes long. You can find it on YouTube, where he's talking about whenever he was in a slump, he'd always tell hitters, and he's the greatest hitter of all time. You never tweak your swing, ever. Your swing's what got you,
right?
right? Your swing's what got you to the big league. So instead, you do 6 things.
Right.
Either I saw closer to the box, closer to the plate, further away from the plate, step up in the box, step out of the box, right? Further deeper in the box,
Quarterback in the
choke up, choke down. That's it.
Right.
But don't mess with the swing.
Yeah, you just put it in a different position.
And so, but the wise people will go and ask that. They'll put their pride aside and be like, hey, I'm in a slump. Let me go seek help.
Right.
Where the proud people, where they fall, is I'm going to work through it. I'll figure it out.
Right.
And so, I think when you talk about people who ascend to these levels of greatness, what we look at is their hard work, right? What we look at is their talent. What we don't look at, and what should really be highlighted, is their level of humility. Because a lot of times you'll hear them in their interviews. A lot of players now in the NBA credit Kobe Bryant, right? Like, hey, some of the somewhat older players in the league, they'll be like, I worked out with Kobe. He taught me X, Y, Z thing. But Kobe, even though he won 5 rings, he also failed a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And Kobe idolized Michael. And Michael, even though he won the 6 rings, he also failed a lot.
Right.
And so I think that is such a huge lesson that could be applied anywhere in any walk of life or anything, which is And I think what you said of the people who do the studying, and when you brought up Otani, like, yeah, he knows who Roberto Clemente is. You bring up a guy like DJ Honda. Yeah, I bet you he knows who DJ Premier is.
Of course he is.
Of course
he does.
Of course he does, right?
Right.
And I bet you even though,
You know who Mantronics was.
Mantronics,
Right. Even before them.
and even the guy that came after, he knows who Kanye is. He knows who Pharrell is. He knows
Right.
who all the people is, because, again, you gotta consistently learn, right? Like, you've never arrived, and that's something that you always preach to. Is like, you'll never arrive, right? The moment you think you've arrived, you're already behind,
Right.
Like, you will never arrive.
You gotta keep working.
I think Black Thought had a bar where it was like, you know, I haven't even finished climbing. I'm only at the top, right? Like, he's not. Yeah, he's at the top, but
Right,
he's at the
but
pinnacle.
it ain't done.
He ain't finished climbing.
Right.
He ain't finished climbing.
Right.
Thing, and I think that's
Right, and there's
wisdom.
like there's no limit. But I mean, just to go back a little bit, I mean, I don't know. I look back at some of these dudes that were great at what they did, at their craft, and not all of them were humble, but they were hard workers. Because Michael Jordan has never been a humble guy.
Oh, you want to be
No one will ever blame Michael Jordan for being humble. No one will ever blame Muhammad Ali as being humble.
Yeah,
I'm saying nobody will ever blame any of those.
sure, but I mean, it takes a level of they got help, right? They got help. Like Jordan, when he was in when the Pistons put him to work, and that one off season, I think he put in like 15 to 20 pounds of muscle. He saw help. You know what I mean? And so that takes a level of humility.
Yeah.
We don't look at it that way.
Yeah.
You just say, yeah, he went and he did these things, but it takes a level of humility to say, someone probably wondering, like, Mike, you want to beat these guys? They're kicking your ass? Put on some weight.
Yeah.
And so he had to humble himself, take that opinion,
Right.
and work on it.
Right.
And so, yeah, of course Michael Jordan's not. No, all the clips you see Michael Jordan is like, yeah, I'll beat your ass. So, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And he could do that. And honestly, it's again, right? The debate is always open. Is Michael Jordan the GOAT? Probably, but I mean, me personally, was he my favorite player? Nah, probably not. Well, not.
I mean, the GOAT doesn't have to be your favorite.
Right. Probably not. I mean, he did. I personally saw him do a lot of incredible things. I saw him do a lot of incredible things, but I don't know. I kind of like I'm a big Larry Bird fan.
Larry Bird was cold.
I'm a big Larry Bird fan.
He was a
Dr. J fan.
Dr. J was cold. Larry Bird was colder though.
Yeah.
Larry Bird was a bucket.
Or even dudes that they might not be successful, right? I'm Bill Laimbeer fan.
I mean, he defines successful.
Right. Well, no, I mean, right.
Right.
He's a champion, but he's not your Larry Bird, right?
No, he's not a bucket.
Right.
But he knew his role. He was an enforcer.
Right. But it's just got like I'm a bit, you know what I'm saying? I'm a Gary Payton fan.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Payton, right, wasn't nothing to forget about, but he was
right.
Right.
I mean, just as far as just their great gameplay and what they did and stuff like that. But like Gary Payton, man, I like, it's just like, I mean, for me, just watching this guy, I was like, I hate this freaking guy.
Hard nosed.
I hate shit talking. Right. I hate this guy, but he's just like, all I want to do is watch him. You know, like, all I want to do is watch him.
Listen, he got it in.
You know what I'm saying? All I want to do is watch him. I love seeing them when they used to play when they used to play Houston or play Detroit. Like, it was just like those were good games because you know what it was gonna be.
Yeah, it was gonna be grinding.
Yeah, you know what it was gonna be.
Well, and again, like I said it earlier, is even for me, like, of course they, NBA TV, you play the reruns, you can watch it on YouTube or whatever, and you can capture and be in awe or really enjoy or be impressed or really, yeah, wow, that was cool, and take things away from what happened on the court. But it is so hard, maybe impossible, to recreate what the energy was off the court and things like that. So, for example, I mean, you lived in New York when, um, the Yankees won a title.
Oh yeah,
Even when the Mets won the '86, you were in New York.
yeah, basically.
And so, as somebody who likes baseball, I can go back and appreciate what the '86 Mets did. But you lived it.
Right, yeah.
You had that. You were Mets fans. You grew up on
I mean, come
the
on,
parade.
yeah, yeah.
All,
I mean, you feel the energy, and you get on the subway, and you will feel the energy.
but you can't
all that.
replicate that.
Right, you can't replicate that. Remember, I saw the Giants win 2 Super Bowls while I was in New York.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Yankees countless World Series.
World Series won in New York.
Right. You know, see the Knicks win nothing.
Yeah, right.
I mean, hockey, I never paid attention or whatever, but
The energy was different, and you can't capture that though.
I mean, but there's no time I think ever in as far as that I know in sports that made well, I shouldn't say that. Let's say that. There was two times in sports where one person turned people into fans, right? That was the Mike Tyson era that made people into boxing fans. And that was the Jordan era that had made people into basketball fans.
Yeah, Jordan was.
I mean, your mother used to watch basketball, right? Your grandfather used to watch basketball, right?
Just to clarify, because my mom doesn't watch any sports. She doesn't care about it. She doesn't really.
And she'll tell you some of the fondest memories that we have is watching
them kill the Knicks,
right? And Reggie Miller smoke the Knicks and stuff like that. I mean,
right?
Yeah. Well, we used to go to your grandfather's house to watch games. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, obviously it was basically because I used to watch it or whatever. But everybody just got so into it that they became fans. And of course, I mean, boxing has always been my favorite sport. So of course, I've always been. But I saw what Mike Tyson did in the whole, and just the whole.
Yeah, sometimes you got someone that just transcends the sport.
Right. Because remember, I mean, I'm a boxing fan, right? So there's boxers that had longer tenures than Mike Tyson's, right? Should have better records than Mike Tyson. And nobody, I mean, there was big fights or whatever, and nobody drew as much attention to Mike Tyson because he was just so devastating.
Right.
And just so proficient and prolific at what he was doing.
It's just not.
I mean, even though, again, right, there was dudes that they were, you know what I'm saying, 47-0, right, with 45 knockouts. Well, nobody did it like Mike Tyson. And then not only that, especially in that division, the heavyweight division, there was a lot of welterweights, there was middleweights, there was lightweights and stuff like that, but not in the heavyweight division.
Right.
Not like that. Not.
Yeah, he was laying dudes out.
Not the way he did it. I'll never forget watching the Olympics in my bedroom and seeing Mike Tyson come out, and I'm like, oh shit, this dude from Brooklyn. Oh shit, this dude from Bed-Stuy. Oh shit, this dude from Brooklyn. And just seeing him out there, he looked like us. I mean, of course, he was a bit older than me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, oh shit, like, all right, he looked like one of my big brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and watching that, I was like, this dude's a freaking problem. And then a couple years after that, of course, he moved up the ranks. I mean, after the Olympics, he turned pro like 14, 15 months after that. He turned pro.
I was just killing.
And that was it. And that was it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that there's definitely something to be said about
those were a couple times. I mean, because you think about other figures like that, right? And you think about Tom Brady, or you think about Derek Jeter, or you think about what, Big Bobby, or you think about dudes like that, but they still, no one, as far as I'm concerned, ever done that to a sport like the way Jordan and Tyson did it to those sports. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, anyway, that just turned.
Yeah, and I think that's where, like, tying it back to the conversation we're having about hip hop, rap, and music in general, which is, yeah, you need people like that kind of transcend and draw people that maybe might not listen. So, like,
right, you have certain artists or certain people that come out that they make songs. I mean, it could be a one-hit wonder or whatever that'll turn people into fans, right? You have somebody that have longevity, that like a Jay-Z or Eminem or Kanye, that people are just the fans, and then just turns people into fans for the genre.
Hey, everybody, it's Matt Rosa. If you made it this far, I just want to say thank you for tuning into this special episode of Infamously Speaking. This is only part one. Part two is dropping this Thursday, December 12th. Super special to be able to do a two-part episode with my dad, just tapping about all things hip-hop, life, fatherhood, and just have a great conversation. As always, if you have the opportunity to, please subscribe, like the podcast, leave a comment. Helps the podcast grow and helps continue to support episodes like these to come out. So as always, everybody, think critically, speak infamously. Catch you on Thursday. Peace.